Here's the Emerbu MCX that they're selling. So this is the Sijun or SJ MCX. It's an upgraded one with metal gears. It's got a nicer motor, a little bigger spring. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to upgrade that spring to an M95. So I thought I'd show you that. But I'm also going to talk about how to take this one apart. So I already took it all apart just because it's kind of cumbersome to try to show that in a video. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you everything you have to do. So one of the first things is you're just going to remove this piece where the stock connects, and the factory stock connects to this too, right? And all you got to do is basically take an Allen wrench, unscrew that. This slides right off this Picatinny rail in the back. Now, once you've done that, you'll see that in the back there is a little hole here, and there's a screw that you're going to have to take out of there. So I just have it labeled. I try to label things if I'm worried I might not remember where it went. So that screw needs to come out. That screw actually goes into the back of the gearbox. So you'll unscrew that one and you'll have that part done. All right. Now, the next thing you can do is pop this pin out so that you can get the upper receiver. First, you can just slide this part of the handguard. This just clicks in place, so you can just slide that off, okay? So you can slide that off, and then we can remove the top of the handguard. Now, to do that, you're just going to take the pin that goes right here. So that pin is, I just moved it, and now I can't see it where I put it. Anyway, that pin, oh, here it is right here. Now, that pin does have a spring, and it also has the little metal piece. So that spring and that little tiny metal piece go in there. Those are taped up in here. Let's see if I can show them to you quick. Again, that's because those are easy to lose. I try to tape those things together, but let me show you what I mean. So that's that little metal pin I'm talking about. And then there's a little spring too, right there, okay? So that spring and pin actually just go inside through here, and then that pin actually even clicks in and locks this into place. All right, so do not lose those when you're removing this. So once you remove that, you can slide the receiver forward. Now it's going to take a little bit of a push, and you may need to even use like a prying tool like this or a flathead screwdriver, because on this one, there's these two pieces right here that lock into this piece right here, and they fit in there pretty tight. So you may need to kind of pry those to get that whole thing to pop forward, and then you can slide that whole thing forward. Once you get it slid forward, you're going to want to not take it all the way forward because it's going to pull on the power cord. So you're going to remove these two screws here, and these two screws are going to allow you to pull the outer barrel out, right? So that way the battery plug can get through here, and then you can take this whole thing off, all right? This piece fits super tight in here, super tight. In fact, you may unscrew those, be pulling on it, and feel like you have to find something else. Again, that's where you may need to use a pry tool or a flathead screwdriver to get that popped out, okay? Once you do that, you should be able to take the upper receiver all the way off and just kind of leave it to the side. So now we've just got your lower and the grip. So you're going to open the grip at the bottom. Now this grip, again, little screw, and then it's got this pin here that's spring loaded. So when you unscrew that, this pin piece, and you open it, this pin piece may pop out, and there's a little spring behind it, just like the spring I showed you with the pin. Don't lose those. I just put it right back in and screwed this right back in place. And then that way, when I go to put it back in, it'll just be ready to go, and I will not lose that. I've lost that spring before, okay? So you'll unhook motor, right? You pull the motor out, then there's the 4 screws inside the grip that you'll go up there with a longer screwdriver. You'll unscrew. That allows you to take the grip off. So now we're down to just the receiver. You've got one pin here, which is pretty standard, that you're going to have to push through to pop out. I use something like a punch to get that out. You may need to use a mallet if it's in there really hard. You're going to have this pin over here too that you're going to need to pop out. So you're going to try to slide it out, and you'll notice when you get it pulled out to the side that there's this little retention clip. So I just reached in there with a little pliers, pulled that retention clip out so I could remove the pin completely. Again, save it, make sure you're keeping everything together. Mag release just unscrews. You can take that out. All right, and then here, this is, right in here, and there's, again, a little metal pin like this, but it's smaller, that goes through there. You're going to have to push that out to get this. And again, that's what I've got taped here. So I know that's kind of a quick rundown, but hopefully you guys understand everything involved. So this one is a little more complicated, as it's already taken me about 6 minutes to tell you how to do all that. Now, you do not need to remove the selector. Just I put it into safety mode. So turn it to safety so that when we're putting the gearbox back in, you're just going to want to hold this in place in safety, and we should be able to get it right back in. That's always somewhat of a pain, but hopefully that'll be fine. All right, so here is the gearbox itself. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is how the charge handle goes on this. It's different than on others. Your charge handle is actually connected to the top of this piece that can slide out with all the springs. So your charge handle just sits on top of that all the way in, and then that is how that works. All right. So that's a little different because most of the time the charge handle has a little spring at the end that's connected up to something, and that's how it's locked in. That one's a little different. So here's your gearbox. All right. And to do the spring, pretty easy, pretty standard. Just going to reach, flathead screwdriver, turn, pop that out. That's the standard spring it comes with. Here's an M95 spring. So quite a bit different in this one. Typically they use a 1.2 spring, which is about an M80. I can't tell you for sure if that's what this is or not, but I believe that's what they have it labeled as. And then we can go to your M95. I don't believe it ever matters which way you put it on. And you can just see the M95, obviously bigger spring, and also just a lot more coils and just better material. This is a SHS M95 spring that Emerbu Toys sells, and they actually sell it on Amazon too. And if you buy it on Amazon, it is shipped from the USA. That is one of the few accessories that they stock at Amazon. So it's got fast shipping. So that's all you got to do there. So we got it upgraded to the M95. Now the fun part, putting it all back together. Shouldn't be too bad. Really, the hardest part is typically just getting the gearbox back in there, lining up properly with the shot selector. There's no really tips or tricks that I know of, just that sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you have to try multiple times. And really, this one looks like it should go in easier than some others because we didn't have to remove that completely. That's where it can get a little harder sometimes. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. This again is the SJ or Sijun MCX being sold by Emerbu Toys. Check them out on Amazon or on emerbutoys.com if Amazon won't ship to you. The blasters should still get to you at the same time regardless where you order. They are all stocked in the USA. And then that M95 spring is too. Questions, comments, post them below. Like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and remember to participate in those YouTube contests when they're live, and you can win several $100 in custom blasters and accessories. Thanks.